Is Discovery Kingdom a failure? So I've been way too invested in the history of Discovery Kingdom and in my extensive research from people who have lived here and from other news sites. I found some interesting things. So that's English. Let's get into what I've discovered about Discovery Kingdom. So when Discovery Kingdom moved to its new location in Vallejo, California, it was built on a golf course and was meant to be a zoo. Maybe with a few rides or anything, not the thrill destination Six Flags is trying to make it, and what they've been trying to make it and are failing miserably at. But this map is from the year before Premier Parks bought the park, before they decided to start turning into a thrill park, which that went really well. I can't find any better maps than this one, but I found a few people who say there was a ride like the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland. But no matter how much I search, I can't find photos because it was removed really early. So there's no photos of it that I can find, and I've searched way too long. But allegedly, it was located on the site where Java's Jungle Land is and kind of went by Boomerang, taken out due to maintenance, but that's only the ride from this time. I could find Premier Parks started adding rides as soon as they acquired the park. They changed everything. But in 1999, a few years after the park had inherited the Six Flags name, they had a company called Robin Hall come up with some concepts for the new park, which was at the time really still developed, like even Medusa wasn't there. So you can tell it was a really small park. Some of these concepts happened to some extent, like Medusa was built, but they never added any theming, or Kong, which already existed, but it never. So the first area is African Adventure, I'm titling it. It wasn't really clear what it was titled, but it had a really inspired atmosphere from Africa, and most of the things are Africa blank. So this first one is like a little bird cage almost looking thing. It's kind of hard to say. Sorry if you hear my mouse clicking, I'm going through the files with you. And then we have the entry gates. So this area is kind of estimated like where the back of the park is, like where all the animals are. So here's the Jungle Cruise entrance. And then here we have more on-ride photos of the Jungle Cruise and the exhibits that would have been on it. And then that's the main area for Africa, so we're going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to try to even out with the parts of the park it's in as much as possible. It's kind of hard. So right now you can see from here, you see the Jungle Cruise in the bottom right, but then you see where Whitewater is now, Whitewater Rapids, but then you see this would have all had like an Arctic theme, like by the lake. So yeah, it would have been like an Arctic themed raft ride, and Boomerang's not here, but it would have been right around behind the killer whale area. And then here's some more angles of all the animal exhibits that would have been there. It's really nicely evened out. Here we have like an indoor area, like in a dome. But then here we have a colored image, and you can see the food court and the dome in the background, and then you can see all the new area that they were gonna build right around where Monkey Business and Thrill the Gorilla are now. And then here's one last picture of the animal and the rapids ride. Yeah. With that, next land. So this next area is where Flash stands currently. So the first angle is looking from where DC Universe is now down towards the entrance. You can see what was Roar at the time to the right. You can see some carnival games to the left and bumper cars way down, and then you see Kong and the Ferris wheel in the background. And then from this angle, staring from the entrance that way, you can see bumper cars up close. and a drop tower, which looks like it's from SNS, but I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure it's in SNS. But the next area is the Lost World area. So this area is where Medusa and Kong stand now, roughly. You see some different angles of the decorations that were going to be around Medusa. You see some flat rides they were planning on putting there. You see the train that they were going to extend. There was a train at the park. And then you see pretty much other angles. I'll be playing them right now if you guys want to see them. And then here, the last one is the Kong entrance, which was meant to happen, but they never did. But the next areas we're going to cover is the current entrance, the new, we're going to call it the normal entrance. There were two options for the park. They were going to either have the entrance where it is now, or they were going to move it where DC Universe is now. So we're going to start with an overhead view in black and white. So you can see we have Kong and all of those in the same place where they are now. But where Cobra and all of that is, we would have bulldozed, like where the trams are. And you can see the dolphin shows in the same place. That's like the back of this area is all the same, but this front would have been all new. And then if you see, they were going to add a permanent haunted house kind of ghost ship vibe between Kong and Medusa, and Medusa station would have actually been in the back of the park. It's confusing, I'll get to that soon. And then if you look at this other angle, here's a colorful option. It's a bit more easily to tell because it's the same route of Medusa, and they were going to add a lake almost under it and grass, so it wasn't going to be parking lot coaster, but they did. And then here's an angle from the turtle pond they were going to put in it and the Ferris wheel. And then right here we have like the overall view of the front of the park, which is actually, it's really nice to see because it visualizes things a lot better. You can see Medusa and all those stuff that they were going to add, but they never did. It's kind of sad. And then the next area is the new entrance. So this would have been where DC Universe is right now. And it would have been pretty much built on DC Universe. Roar, same thing, would have been the farthest ride. But then we would have had City Walk and the Transit Plaza, all where Batman and all that is. There would have been a Cineplex where Superman and Wonder Woman are. And the entrance would have been right around where the Penguin is. And there would have been a whole bunch of restaurants and stores. And there would have been a second gate. So, Waterworld in Concord, which they bought the leasing rights to in 2018, they owned before their bankruptcy. And they actually operated it under Six Flags Waterworld name. They didn't call it Hurricane Harbor. Because they were going to add another water park where the fairgrounds used to be. Now it's just an abandoned plot of land. But they were going to add a second water park there. So there was going to be like a almost downtown Disney-esque thing between the current park and the new water park. And I feel like this would have been really cool. It could have really worked out. But here's a colored image of that too, kind of more visualizing. Kind of helps. And then here's some toll booths. So this next area is it could have been two different areas. So this idea was behind Kong and the Dinosphere Theater at the time. Now it's an abandoned 4D theater. So this would have seen multiple flat rides, the Jungle Cruise, and many other things come. And Medusa station would have been in the very back. But then the second option would have had all of that just stay maintenance. So they went with the second option basically. And the Medusa station is where it is now. So they went with the second option basically. And then this is a kind of easier, more drawn out option of where the train track was going to be and all that. And then here's just the two options side by side. More convenient. And then here's the Looney Tunes area. And with that, let's go to the Batman Stunt Show entrance that was supposed to be. So, the Batman Stunt Show. I don't know where my files went for that. 1 second. So, the Batman Stunt Show would have replaced what is now Chabot Stadium. It would have used it, but it would have been Batman and would have had a theme. So, maybe better. And then this next area is the Flamingo Pond, which this is like one of the things they actually did build. Now it's abandoned. It's behind the now abandoned Voodoo, and if you can still walk back there, like some of the paths blocked off, but the gate's always open. You can just walk back there. There's a second gate, so you can see right now. Now it's just concrete, but it used to be a flamingo pond. And then Medusa's other theme idea was going to be Superman, so it would have looked more like the Superman station at Magic Mountain, or the second option for Disneyland. I mean, not Disneyland, Superman. I'm English. Would have been a Daily Planet, like more city-esque. And then here we have an overview of the entire front of the park, which would have been, this was option 1. So this would have been without the whole downtown Six Flags, which I'm calling it now. And then that's just a more area with no color. And then here's an entire map of the park. If you want to zoom in or pause it, you can tell everything, where it was going to be, how they were going to do it for option 1. So either way, the drop tower was going to happen in the boardwalk. All of that was going to happen, but probably budget cuts or just them not wanting to spend that much money, they stopped. But with that, that's a wrap, and you have hit the break run, and have a great rest of your day.